What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing my Week 2 rankings for the NFL season. Week 1 is officially over. It was a crazy Week 1. I couldn't wait. I was so excited to watch it. I watched football all day on Sunday. Obviously watched the game on Monday night. That was devastating. I'm so sorry. One of my best friends is a Jets fan. I said it was the most excited he's ever been for a football game. It was awesome. And I'm so sorry for Jets fans. It's really disappointing. I can't imagine. I mean, that was disappointing for me, and I'm not a Jets fan, so I'm sorry about that. But on to week 2. I can't wait for week 2. Starts tomorrow, Thursday night. But like I said, I'm just going to be doing my week 2 rankings, and these are based on the previous week, and just where I see each team. So starting off with the Saints, I actually picked the Saints to win the South. Their defense is good. I think Derek Carr is only going to get better. Chris Olave is a beast. He was so good on Sunday. They're going to get Alvin Kamara back. Who I know Alvin Kamara, he's not like a top 10 running back. Not the best running back, but he's still better than what they have now. He's just another weapon they're going to add. So I think they're going to win the South, especially after seeing the Panthers and the Falcons, honestly. I think the Saints are the best team in that division. Dolphins, I'm going to put him in Super Bowl contenders. I think I had him as playoff team, but not contenders in my last ranking. I take that back. Now, I know a lot of people are going to overreact to this win, but their defense did allow 34 points. It was a shootout, and I mean, if anybody's equipped to win a shootout, it's the Dolphins. As long as Tua is healthy, this team could actually they probably will win the AFC East. That was my pick to win the AFC East. Actually, I picked the Dolphins to win it. Bills offense did not look good. Jets defense is great. I just as long as Tua is healthy, you can't cover Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. It's too easy for him. And I actually picked Tyreek Hill to win Offensive Player of the Year, so I'm off to a pretty good start right now with my predictions. Ravens, I'm gonna have as a playoff team. It was a disappointing win. I know they won 25-9. They covered the spread or whatever. They won by a couple scores. It was the Texans, and it did not look pretty at all. That Texans team, I think, is the second worst team in the league, maybe the worst. Ravens, they're rusty. I know Lamar, I'm pretty sure he didn't play any preseason snaps at all. A lot of their offense didn't. They ended up Mark Andrews, the number one pass catcher. Zay Flowers looked really good for a rookie. Looked great in space. Just get him the ball in his hands. Have him make a play. He looked good. And that offense is going to get better with Mark Andrews. They did lose J.K. Dobbins, which is really unfortunate for the run game. That was already lacking to start, especially for him. He can't stay healthy. That's a shame. I remember watching him when he was a freshman starting for Ohio State. He was awesome. But that's unfortunate that he's injured again out for the season. So they're going to lean on Gus Edwards. But I think they're just a playoff team. The Bengals, I will not write them out. I know it was awful. They lost 24-3 against the Browns. I'm pretty sure I picked the Browns to win that. The Bengals start shitty every single season, and then they get hot in mid-season, and then they're ready for the playoffs. That's all that matters. You just get hot. We've seen them do it 3 years now where they start really poor. I think they lost to the Steelers last year, something crazy. I'm not worried about it. It's week 1. Joe Burrow didn't practice much as he was injured for majority of training camp and the preseason. He didn't play in the preseason. I don't think Jamar chased it either. Like they just didn't. They're rusty. You saw a lot of good teams be rusty this week because they just didn't play in the preseason. So I'm not going to hold them to it. Also, I think the Browns are better than people give them credit for. Broncos, I'll say missing playoff. They're going to miss the playoffs. I don't have them making the playoffs. I'll put them above mediocre because their defense is still really good. Their defense is top 10, I think. You lost to the Raiders at home opening week with Sean Payton. That's a disappointing loss. Close game, though. I mean, they lost by a point, so it's really toss-up, but you still lost. I don't think they're that good. They also didn't have Jerry Jeudy. I know he was hurt, but, I mean, Jerry Jeudy's not Tyreek Hill, so I'm not going to put him, playoff team because they were missing him. So I'm going to have him in this tier. The Giants got absolutely smoked. That offensive line looked disgusting. Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal looked lost. I know you're going against the Cowboys. It's a top 3 defense. So I'm not going to overreact. I did have the Giants missing the playoffs this season. They have a hard schedule. I mean, I'm not going to kill them for it because it was the Cowboys. They weren't going to beat the Cowboys. But that was an embarrassing loss. They do play the Cardinals, so they should bounce back. I mean, you got to kill the Cardinals this week. Um, I'm gonna have them in just barely missing the playoffs. Vikings. I put them in a playoff team. That was a bad loss. So they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Tyreek Hill Justin Jefferson went for like 160 yards. He absolutely feasted in the first half. And they only scored 14 points. I know Kirk Cousins did not look the best. He had like a red zone interception and like 2 fumbles or something. That's a disappointing loss. I still think. I mean, their defense looked all right. It was against the Bucks. Bucks aren't a very good team. They're going to be tested tomorrow night against my Eagles. I'll actually be at that game. I can't wait. Home opener at the Link. But I still think their passing attack looked good. I think Kirk will clean up the miscues. Once again, week 1, everybody's rusty. They didn't play in the preseason. So I still think they make the playoffs as a wild card. The Rams, I was kind of surprised on the Rams. They won 30-13. I thought that was a lock against Seattle. Especially with Cooper. They didn't even have Cooper Kupp, and they won 30-13 on the Seahawks. Seahawks had everybody. Seahawks secondary looked bad. For as much as they invested in the secondary, I know they got Woolen, Diggs. They added Weatherspoon at number 5 overall. I was shocked it looked that bad. Their pass rush isn't the greatest, but they were getting torn up by, I can't even remember his name. I know Tutu Atwell went off, and somebody else if you went to go pick up that receiver that got like 15 targets from the Rams on fantasy, he doesn't even have a picture. So that's how unknown he is. But Rams looked good. They actually looked really good for no Cooper Kupp. So we'll see how long they could keep that going. I'll be surprised if they can, but I look forward to watching them. The Bucks, I still think they missed the playoffs. I still think it was a lucky win. Actually, it is based on week 1, so I'm going to put in potential wildcard. That was a good win, walking into US Bank Stadium in Minnesota in week 1. Justin Jefferson torched them in the first half, and they made great adjustments. Baker Mayfield did not look horrible. He didn't look terrible, so they won. I still don't think they win their division. I still don't think they make the playoffs, but it was a good week 1 win, and I was impressed. Lions, playoff team. I picked the Lions to win the North at the beginning, before the season. I still think they do. Now, I think it would have been different if the Chiefs had Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, but I'm not going to put an asterisk on it. I'm just not going to do that. It's a team that you play who's there, and they did beat a hurt Chiefs, but doesn't matter. You walked in Arrowhead and you won, and you don't got to play the Chiefs again until potentially the Super Bowl. And the Lions look good. Especially Aiden Hutchinson. He looked really good. The Bears looked awful. I'll say mediocre at best. I didn't think the Bears were going to be good. I didn't even think the Bears would win this game. I know the Packers or the Bears are maybe 2-point favorites. It was a close thing. But I didn't think the Bears were going to win. Bears aren't a good football team. They just aren't. I think DJ Moore had like 2 targets or something absurd. Like, you traded the number 1 pick. You got him. I don't know. The Packers outclassed them. The Packers looked really good. So I'm going to say mediocre at best. San Fran, Super Bowl contenders. They looked like the best team in the league yesterday on offense and defense. Their offense was unstoppable. Defense absolutely mauled the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. It wasn't even like a masterclass from Bosa either. It was just good defense. Kenny Pickett did not look good. You walked into Heinz Field and walked out with a dominating win, 30-7. Christian McCaffrey looked like an animal. Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy looked really good. I think actually their odds. They're now Super Bowl favorites after week 1. I think their odds jumped up to the favorite team to win the Super Bowl. Eagles still are my contenders. They did not look good. Against the Patriots, especially the offense. I got a couple things to say about this. I know that, the Patriots, a lot of people kind of shit on the Patriots and don't see them as high. It's tough to walk in on week 1 in New England against a Bill Belichick defense. Like, that Patriots defense is going to be top 5. They're just really good. Bill's always going to have a great defense. It's not an easy win to walk into New England, especially when you don't play well and still win by 5 points. Mac Jones had a good day. The Eagles, Jalen Carter, I believe, was their highest rated Eagles player on Sunday. He looked like a fucking animal. He's going to be great for him, but I'll still have him in contender. I'm excited to see what they do on a short week at home against Minnesota. I think Justin Jefferson's going to torch them, especially with James Bradbury being out, Nakobe Dean, the middle linebackers out. So they're gonna have a bunch of new guys in there on defense. So we'll see. Raiders potential wild card, I guess. They did beat the Broncos by a point in Denver. Jimmy Garoppolo's first game in Denver. Jacoby Myers had himself a day. Devontae had a pretty good game. Jacobs had an all right game. Overall, it was a decent game. I mean, they won 17-16. Not much to say. Pretty boring game. Battle of the mid, but they came out with a win in a divisional opponent on the road. So that's always a good win. Packers. I'll say potential wild card because it was against the Bears, but Packers looked really good. Jordan Love looked really good. The defense looked great. And then even have Christian Watson. I mean, he's no Justin Jefferson, but he's still a starting receiver for him. Aaron Jones looked good. Everybody looked good. So good for the Packers. Washington, they did not look good. I thought they were going to dominate the Cardinals, and they barely escaped with a win at home against the Josh Dobbs-led Arizona Cardinals. Just not the best game. Sam Howell did not look very good. I think he had at least a fumble or two. I know he fumbled for 6, like on their 10-yard line or something. He didn't look good. I don't know. It just didn't look very pretty, but they got a win. It's just week 1. They could be rusty, although they did play in the preseason. So all of them is missing the playoffs for now. Cardinals, I ain't going to say much about them. Steelers, that was an ugly game. I had the Steelers missing the playoffs to begin the season. I still don't think they get in, especially in the North. Although the North did not look very good. The Bengals got a loss. I don't know. It's a tough. They just looked really bad. I think they're better than Washington and the Broncos and the Giants, but it looked so bad. They did play. That's the best team they're going to play all season. You played the best team, and you got out the way in week 1. You can only go up from here, and I think they do, and I think they continue to get better. So I don't want to kill them, but I also am not going to put them in a higher. They just didn't look. They looked awful, but I also think this is the lowest I have them this season. Bills, they looked really bad. Bills looked lost. I know the Jets defense has a chance to be the best in the league this season. Josh Allen had 4 turnovers, and they were all on him. This wasn't tipped off the receiver's hands and then they caught it, or bad snap and the ball went by him and then the Jets recovered. He threw 3 interceptions where he just chucked the ball up into double coverage and then he fumbled the ball. They looked bad. Their defense is going to be really good this year. They're going to get Von Miller soon in week 5, I think, and they're going to get even better. I expect them to be better. I would like to put them in Super Bowl contenders, but that was a really bad game from them. So I'm moving them down to playoff teams. The Falcons. Falcons look good. I think they can get the wild card. The division's not that good. Like, you're competing with the Saints, Bucks, and Panthers. You just smoked the Panthers. Although Ritter did not look very good. 15 of 18. I know he completed a high amount of passes. What is that, like 5-6 or something? I don't know the percentage of whatever that is. But it was all behind the line, screen, short passes. He had like 115 yards or something ridiculous. Defense looked good. But you were going against the Bryce Young-led Panthers. I think I picked the Falcons to take second this season, second or third. I had them beating the Panthers. I just don't like Ritter. I like the coach. They're going to compete. They're not going to roll over and die. Bijan looked great. Him and Tyler Algier combination in the backfield looked really good, and that's what's going to keep him in a lot of games. Seahawks looked really bad. I'm going to put them in potential wild card. They got smoked by their divisional rival at home at CenturyLink Field. Geno looked bad. The secondary looked bad. Not a good game for the Seahawks. Patriots, potential wild card. I actually think there's a chance they make the wild card. They looked really good yesterday. That defense looked legit. Mac Jones looked good, although they did have the 2 turnovers that led to touchdowns, which is unfortunate, which is why they lost that game. You still have Bill Belichick, who I think is the best coach in the league. Especially after the devastating Rodgers news, I think they do potentially make the wild card. I think 3 teams could get out of the East. The Browns, I'm going to put them in potential wild card. They looked really good against the Bengals, and I thought the Browns were going to be pretty decent. Their roster's really good. I like their defense a lot. Their offensive line's really good, although I think they just lost Jack Conklin for the entire season, which is really tough blow. Nick Chubb looks great. Deshaun Watson looked all right. He didn't look the best, but I think he'll continue to be better. But you got a big win. You got a big win against a divisional rival who's favored to win the division. I think they potentially make it. Texans. C.J. Stroud looked pretty good. I mean, his team's bad. There's not much he's going to do. Will Anderson got a sack. Good for him. But this team's just not very good. Chiefs, I'm still going to have them in contenders. They lost by a point without their second and third best player. Week 1, rusty, I guess. I mean, you've also faced a good opponent in the Lions. It's not like they lost the Bears or something. You lost to the Lions, who I expect to be, in the divisional round when the playoffs come around. It's a tough loss, but I'm not going to count them out too bad. I still think they're favored in the AFC. Cowboys, that's a dominating fucking win. I mean, they couldn't have dominated any more than they did. They won 40-0 on the road, Sunday Night Football, and they got real lucky. They're gonna play a Zach Wilson-led Jets next Sunday, so they're gonna have another good win. Defense looks legit. They were rushing Daniel Jones. He had no time in the pocket. It was a good win for the Cowboys. Chargers, I'm not going to hurt them too bad. They lost by 2 points to the Dolphins. I mean, your defense, J.C. Jackson, did not look really good, even though he did get a pick. I know he did. But Tyreek Hill did whatever he wanted to. Not much to say. I mean, they lost a shootout against the Dolphins at home. Week 1, it happens. I thought the Dolphins were going to win. They're a better team, and they won. But I still think Chargers are a pretty good team. Especially Eckler. I really like how they were able to run the ball. It wasn't like a shootout throwing the ball, which is what I would have guessed with the Chargers. They were able to run the ball really effective with Eckler and Josh Kelly, which I think is a really good sign because Herbert's going to be great. Herbert's going to be able to throw the ball all season long. But I think it's a good sign if they're also able to run the ball. That makes them that much better. Jets, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to pound on it too much. You lost your quarterback. Zach Wilson looked awful last night. I know they won. I'm aware that they won the game. But in the end, they lost. You lost your quarterback. This defense is really good. Only so far is Zach Wilson going to carry. I actually don't think he's the only quarterback that plays for them this season. I think they're going to sign somebody that eventually gets in there. But I don't think you can scrape by with a mediocre quarterback in this league in 2023. Panthers, I'm going to have them missing the playoffs. You scored 10 points. You lost 24-10. On the road, week 1, that's tough. Bryce Young's first game, I didn't expect too much, but I also didn't expect them to make the playoffs this season. Miles Sanders looked all right. His weapons weren't that good. Tough day for the Panthers. Titans, Ryan Tannehill looked awful. He threw 3 interceptions. I don't think Tannehill's going to make it past week 4 if he continues this. It was a very bad game. I mean, Derrick Henry didn't look that great. Treylon Burks, who they drafted in the first round last year, like 2 targets or something. It was not a good game from them. The Colts, it was all right. I mean, they lost by 10 points to their Jags. Figured the Jags were going to win. Anthony Richardson was pretty good. I mean, I would say he's the best out of all the rookie debuts yesterday. He did make a couple mistakes. This team wasn't going to win the South this season, so I don't want to punish them too much. Like, they just weren't going to. They're a young team. If they had Jonathan Taylor, I honestly think they do win that game yesterday, actually. They weren't able to run the ball at all. I think their running back had, 12 carries for 13 yards or something. 13 carries for 14 yards. It was awful. And he had, a fumble. It was terrible. Michael Pittman looked really good, so Anthony Richardson looked fine. He threw for, 240 yards or something. Ran for a touchdown, another 40 yards. He does need a slide. He got banged up at the end. They had to take him out. He's not making it throughout the season playing like that. I will say that. So he's got to be going down a little bit more. And finally, with the Jags, I'm a playoff team. Although I want to put them in Super Bowl contenders. But I'll wait on Super Bowl contenders. Calvin Ridley surprised me. That looked really good. Their connection, they looked like they've been playing for a couple of years now. He had 10 targets for 8 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Calvin Ridley was one of the best receivers in the NFL last time we saw him healthy, 2 years ago. So I'm glad he's back and looking good. Travis Etienne looked really good. running the ball as well. He ran the ball a lot. He looked good doing it. Trevor Lawrence did have a bad turnover. That was like a cheap, lucky, or unlucky turnover for 6. So that's like why this game was closer than it should have been. But I'll put them in playoff teams because they're going to win the South, I think. But these are my Week 2 NFL rankings. Let me know if there's anything you guys disagree with. I'm free to discuss in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see some more. And I will see you guys on Friday for my Week 2 predictions. Thanks for watching.